Okay.
Yeah,
Silent.
I'm silent.
You're sighing
Sighing.
like frustration. Is that true?
No, I'm just breathing. That's what I do.
Oh, that's breathing.
No, I probably am trying to figure out what I have to do before I go back to Boston because now I've got jobs that I need to work on, and which ones can I start and finish here,
Mm-hmm.
and which ones can I start later when I get back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'm also thinking about all the other stuff. I was thinking about what would happen if I owned this house and sat at this table. Would I sit over in the corner over there where I could see everything, or would I sit in the shade over here where I would see everything, or would I? So that was where my thought was when I was
Yeah.
making my last sigh because it involved this house.
Yeah, I could tell
So,
something.
but it was it was a lot of
There's a lot of emotion inside.
well, there was frustration and emotion and why do we have to make a decision? Why do all of that sort of stuff? Now that I'm thinking about it, it was more complicated. Sigh. I was thinking when I got up today in the den, that little window seat was, and the studio really were added when I was in college,
Uh-huh.
and then we would spend most of the summers at the lake. And then when I was in grad school, the same thing. So I never really took advantage of the um, studio so much to make things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I painted a couple of pictures there, and that was it.
Now, when was the studio added? When you were
Well, when I was in college,
in college?
it was added, and um, I was just thinking, because I have not lived here for 40 years
Uh-huh.
or whenever it was, I'm just thinking of, well, had I lived here, what would I might have done here? What were the paintings that I might have made?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, thinking about things like this are always
Heavy.
um, heavy and in many ways pointless because you can't turn the clock back. But um, anyway, that's sort of what was going on. And then um, if my time here with this house is limited,
Mm-hmm.
do I uh, what do I how do I want to appreciate it in a way that it has been appreciated by everyone else uh, who lived here or were part of this house more recently. So I don't have that problem with the cabin because even we were all there together during its entire history, really, because I'd have summers off and things like that. Even when I was recently only up there for a few days, it was still kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we all were appreciating it in the same way together. But this place is a little different because after college, after high school, really, I didn't live here.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed here, but I didn't really live here. And um, so if the house is going to be for sale or is going to be sold, then how do I want to live here the most? And part of what I'm doing is drawing it, as you've been watching, and that's a way of representing it, but that's not necessarily living here. That's turning it into a drawing. You know, would I, like my father would do, walk around the house and sit in each of his little rooms with his cocktail and look at the trees? And would I paint a picture in the studio one time in recent memory? But of course, the studio now is a huge storage house, so it's not the same. And the this is going to sound creepy, but there was, hello Friedrich, I'm broadcast. But I remember thinking, you know, when I inherit this house, I'll be able to sleep in this room, my parents' room, you know. And this is something that, you know, I thought of at some point in my life for, you know, one or two thoughts. Not really more than that, but I was just thinking, wouldn't it be nice to you know, go from a room that had no windows in the basement to one that had all these windows and these big doors and a balcony? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? And it'll happen sometime in the future.
And quite a view.
And it's quite a view. So, but you know, I'm not a view kind of person. I'm very much hide in the corners and in the dark, and that's fine. I don't know whether I would like it. It might be too much like camping outside, which I don't like doing. But anyway, these are all sorts of things that I have not done with this house. And part of it is because I'm fidgety and I don't sit down and smell the roses. I will sit down and I'll draw the roses, and I will go outside for a few minutes and think, would this be lovely to sit outside and read? And I can't do that. I can't sit outside and read. I'm too distracted. So in many ways, I wouldn't appreciate this place as much as my father did. Anyway, these are all the little tiny thoughts that are going through my little brain here when I was looking at all of this stuff on the table. Would I have this table be completely clear? No, of course not. I don't have any table in any house that I've ever been in completely clear. It always has junk on it that I'm working on or that I want to look at and touch. So the whole house would look like this. It'll be just this clusterfuck of stuff. Because, you know, no mom or dad is going to tell me to clean up my mess. So the house would become a disaster if I owned it. But it would be a pretty disaster. So these are all the thoughts that are going through my mind, and I've never had these thoughts before, really. I guess I have had some thoughts before. I thought at one point, if we owned the house, it would be fun to have the windows in the living room. Todd has these beautiful, well, I own them now, but these vintage transits that are just beautiful. It would look great there, but of course then they'd block the view. So anyway, they're just, these thoughts get in my little head and they stay there, taking up room. So it's, I think it's probably better for me to just put them back, shut the door of those thoughts, and go back to asking Frederick how he's doing. He's Friedrich. I'm done with my morning musings with Audrey. She wondered why I was sighing. And I sighed because of those thoughts and more. maybe Schiavella will buy the house and let us be caretakers and pay us to live in his house on top of it. Go in here. He's not there. We have a Chagall print that we're trying to sell. Speaking of Chagall, and a Brock. So there's that. Oh dear. Sorry to hear. Oh, well, I've got a few minutes before the sun gets over the yard arm here. Well, I did some watercolors yesterday. And I think maybe if I have an hour that I can focus on, I may try to copy one of my favorite paintings by Sargent. I have 3 colors. I have purple and yellow and umber, and or sienna or something. I forget what. Deep tan color. And I thought I would try to do a copy of John Singer Sargent's watercolor of the escutcheon of Charles V, which is, yeah, I have a hard time with Chagall too. It's a very funny picture we have. It's called Lovers, and it's 2 heads and a butt that are connected in a very weird way. I'll show it to you because it's just weird. Doesn't make any sense, really. It's a bowl of fruit, 2 heads, and an ass. Come on. Fuck me. How do I make this work? No. Yes. There. Bowl of fruit, 2 heads, and a big old ass. What do you think? My take on that one. The Brock is more interesting. The Brock is one of the, there's so 3 of these prints that he applied varnish to, and this is one of the 3, I guess. The heads are on the wrong side to do any sort of analingus routine. Well, I don't think we're putting it on eBay. I think we'll put it on Christie's or Sotheby's or something. So anyway, that Chagall used to hang on in our wall at the hallway here, and as kids, we'd always giggle about it. So anyway, the escutcheon of Charles V, you know that picture by Sargent? It's made of the colors that I have in my paint box. And I thought maybe I would try to here's a question. Here's a little so look, here's the escutcheon of Charles V, which is this image of a carved eagle and heraldic business on top of a doorway. And that's called an escutcheon. Now look at this. This is how you're supposed to buy that print, and here's how you're supposed to hang it. You know, could someone call in the gay decorator? God, can you believe how stupid that looks? No, that's not how you hang a picture, or buy a chair for that matter. Let's hang it so you have all of this wall. Let's hang it so you have to like look up at it like this. It's above your head. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Well, it's stupid cold Danish. Well, it's in a studio, clearly. I mean, the head of a standing human would be at the bottom of that picture. And so there's another 5 feet before you get to the ceiling at least. And let's hang the picture at from 7 to 9 feet above your head. There's a little light on the table there. But that doesn't help you when it'll help you find your keys if you put your keys over there, but it won't help you read a book. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Okay, I was talking about something before I saw that. Oh, escutcheon. So, you know what else is called an escutcheon? Don't look it up, because that would be cheating. It's really, really a cool term. Cool name for the term, especially when considering females. Okay, give up. I will show you a picture. I will show you a picture of the other kind of escutcheon. Okay, how do I do that? Where's fucking Google? Thank you. Okay, where's the good bits? How difficult is it? Don't tell me, Google, you're being prudish. No, that's an escutcheon plate, which is weird. Um, um, the escutcheon is the, I have to make sure I do this correctly so that you don't get upset with me, YouTube. This is the escutcheon on Michelangelo's David. So the fur located above the junk on both men and women is called an escutcheon. And it sort of makes more sense for the term. Maybe the term started for women because the escutcheon is this decoration above a doorway. So the portal of the nasty bits in a woman might make more sense than the junk of a man. But isn't that neat? Escutcheon. Um, it means pubic hair. Ignore statuary. I just found that rather than finding an actual, rather than dropping my pajamas for you to point to my junk, my stuff. But I wanted to keep it G-rated. So a human goes into a doctor, a furry human, human having reached puberty goes into a doctor's office, and the doctor might say, boy, that's a big escutcheon you got going on there. Or, I see you trim you manscape your escutcheon. That's, I don't think they thought about it from, I don't think it was, I think let me just look it up. No, it doesn't sound like it fits. Escutcheon sounds like well, look it up on Google on your own devices, but it's probably a very antiquated term. Of course, you know what merkin means, right? In one of my favorite films, Dr. Strangelove, the president of the United States, Mighty Mouse, the mousy looking president is named Melvin Merkin. Escutcheon, ESCHUTCHEON, I think. Escutcheon. Okay, I don't see any of. I don't see anything about this here. Escutcheon is, maybe I'm entirely wrong. Merkin is a fur wig used in that nether region down there. Female prostitutes would often have little critters living on their body, so to Todd, you know the difference between
What?
a dog? You know the difference between a dog and a cat?
This is a joke.
Yeah, a dog thinks.
And a cat.
A dog thinks he's a god. He feeds me, and a cat thinks I'm a god. He feeds me. so I'm a god. You feed me. Um, um, it might have been because of that too, but it was, I think, as often because of the critters that you might have living a happy life down there. You try to make it easy to remove the critters by removing their habitat, and then you'd somehow slap on this wig and ass cushion. Okay, escutcheon. Patterns of pubic hair known as escutcheon vary. Let's just read that, shall we? There's no pictures, there's just words. Pubic hair patterns can vary by race and ethnicity. Patterns of pubic hair known as the escutcheon vary between sexes. On most women, the pubic patch is triangular and lies over the blah, blah, blah. In men, the pubic patch tapers upwards to a line of hair pointing towards the navel. Cheap wigs, human hair humans are scientists. I don't know what that even means. Who wrote this? Humans are warriors, humans are survivors. What am I even looking at? Are we going to? I think that this is not a very good article. ESCUTCHEON. No. See what fascinating things you learn on a Friday? I'm looking at a picture on Instagram. That's an escutcheon. Now that's an escutcheon. This guy doesn't have a escutcheon. I think if you take Frederick, if you take the art and sculpture and stuff out of it completely, I think, and if you just were, if art didn't exist and we were just looking at the human body and naming its parts, and describing things. One might look at the fur and see differences and similarities between things. So the term applies to the pattern of fur growth only, not necessarily how it's represented in art. So, how's Schiavello today? How's Schiavello? He sent me a message yesterday, but I wasn't able to respond very fast, so I hope he didn't think I You sound like George Bruno there, Friedrich. You might think that's an insult, and it sort of might be, but he likes to post things that are particularly what most people would think were old-fashioned and sexist. He's of the belief that men are supposed to be in charge, and women are supposed to follow. It was insulting. Oh no. I'm sorry about that. So George posted a picture. I'll be right back. So George, yeah. Let me find George. George Bruno, MS. So George posted this picture of the White House, and there's Biden and Harris at a news conference, and there's the press below, and there's the Secret Service guy on the roof, and in the background there's this building. And so this PSYOP was filmed at Atlanta. George writes, this psyop was filmed in Atlanta at Tyler Perry Studios. The stadium in the background was the former Turner Stadium that was used by the Atlanta Braves and is now used by Georgia State University. Isn't this fun? I would love to know who leaked this photo. You can't get in there. Okay. And he says, your thoughts? Just send them to me. I don't know who wrote the stuff in the black. I think someone else wrote that, but your thoughts. So my thoughts was that, all sorts of people saying, some people say it looks photoshopped, and other people are saying that it's in California, the movie studio where Biden is pretending to be the president is in California, and blah, blah, blah. I've read that this is possibly Castle Rock Studios, Amazon Studios. That certainly is in California, someone says. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. And then I just wrote the following because I got tired of this. Because I've been to the White House in Washington, D.C., and I look with my eyeballs and use my brain to notice things around it. And I say, why would a stadium have chimneys? That building is the Eisenhower Executive Building located next door to the White House. And then someone else stated, someone else talking about where this quote set is. And I said, the building in the background, I repeated, is the Eisenhower Executive Building located in Washington, D.C., and it's next door to the White House. Stadiums generally do not need fireplaces and chimneys. And another one that he posted recently was about Virgin Voyages to require COVID-19 vaccines when cruises restart. And George said, fuck that. The cruise industry just shot itself in the foot. And someone said, vaccinations prevent infections and transmission of infections. And George responded, are you, and you don't see something different here? So I don't know what, if you go around the well, this is how fantasies start. And if I can get one person to think, gee, all we had to do, I Googled White House just to see if there was another view, maybe from a helicopter showing, the two buildings next to each other. And I found another picture taken from the ground that shows the two buildings next to each other. You can see both of them very clearly. But no, they go, someone believes, someone puts a picture up and a caption below, points out one little part of the picture and says the world is flat. And then other people believe the world is flat. And then you've got to waste all of this energy teaching the flat earth theory in school. It isn't, it was built at a time when that kind of architecture was the best thing that ever happened, which thankfully did not last very long. I like what Carl Baedeker in his 1928 Baedeker Guide to the United States refers to the City Hall in Philadelphia, which is pretty funny looking. Let me tell you, it looks like that building with a rocket made of brick and marble in the middle of it. He refers to, Carl Baedeker's writer refers to that building as a tasteless pile of granite, which I think is absolutely perfect. I love the building though, I really do. I go there and I don't look at it from far away because it's ugly far away, but if you look at it and you find interesting angles, it's ooh la la, and then some la la, and then behind it another little bit of ooh, and then topped off with an extra bit of ooh la la. And I kind of like that, of that kind of architecture, where enough is never enough. More classicist are you there? More Ionic than Corinthian? Mm-hmm. Well, I like I like drawing ooh la la. I had a gob of lace that someone was throwing away, and they were all beautifully folded, and ironed. And I took them out and dumped them all up and sort of put them in a ball and just tossed them and then drew them. And I had really a fun time just getting lost in the CGI president confirmed, George Bruno says. And I commented to this. 30 comments. If you aren't aware of deep flakes, you are sorely behind the times, someone says. PlayStation graphics from I don't know what they're talking about. Was there a press conference or something that Biden was pixelated or something? Okay, where is this? Do I have to like look at? I'm going to type in CGI president, see what happens. CGI president Biden. Biden, B-I-D. Strange optical illusion has conspiracy theorists claiming Joe Biden is dead. Okay, let's just see what this is. Why is it not? Why am I not allowed to see this? Conspiracy theorists convinced Joe Biden used green screen to fake recent appearance. I see. Fact check 1 day ago was George. The president briefly addressed reporters in the clip, prompted by many questions. Okay, where's the claim? Some people online claiming that Biden's short interaction was fabricated. His hand appears to pass through a physical microphone. Okay, well, what causes it? Let's just see. Does his hand travel through the mic at the bottom of the screen? And you'll see that. Okay, number of. So here's a screenshot of it. So the hand does seem to go in front of it. Anyway. Well, happy birthday to your house. I mean, that's what was interesting about this building behind. Normally, you don't see the angle of the White House with this building behind it. So that's normally in pre-COVID times, the camera was closer to the president. And it was a cozier kind of thing. So you didn't have to stand way back on a ladder to take a picture. But that's the issue with the flat earthers too. They are under some sort of delusion that the world is flat based on some out of focus picture or some lame experiment that they do in their backyard with a piece of string and a camera on your iPhone. Your iPhone 2, they take a picture out of focus of a piece of string and the horizon line, and like, oh, for God's sake. Anyway, we're all doomed. Doesn't make any difference. We're doomed. I'm telling you, we're doomed. Doomed. So I have a job to do for Harvard University. Actually, yeah, it's for Harvard, but it's a going away present for someone who I used to do work for at Harvard, at Harvard, and I hope that they don't forget me when she goes away. And so it's a going away present for her. And then I also have a few more other art things I've got to do. What is the date today? Where's my calendar? Friday, March 19. So in 10 days, I will be back in Minneapolis. She's retiring, yeah. I have made, I was hired by Harvard, by this woman, to create gifts, artistic gifts that were given to people that gave a lot of money, and or most of them were for donors, but one of them was a gift that was given to the president of Harvard University, President Faust. And what I do is I create a still life of a pile of books, and we're looking down on the still life, and this is all drawn, and some of the books have titles, some of the books have symbols, some of the books are open, some of the books are closed, and there was always 2 or 3 books that were almost always the same. One was a map of Harvard campus. One was the statue of John Harvard that's in the quadrangle. One was a closed book cover that had the Harvard shield. And then all the other things were objects and other books that represented the interest of the donor. And I would build these all, I draw them all, Van Gogh, whatever. I would draw them all, pen and ink on paper, then I'd scan them in and then move them around after they were scanned in because they were always changing their mind. Oh, can we add one more thing? Or can we take, turns out she didn't do this, or they didn't do this, or this is the wrong spelling, we gave you the wrong spelling, or you spelled it wrong, which I don't know if I spelled anything wrong, but I said advanced study rather than advanced studies on one of them. So that was my mistake, but I didn't spell it wrong. I just used the wrong term. And it's a fun idea. I've done them for brides and grooms. I've done them for families, whose anniversaries where someone becomes, someone dies or someone turns 70 and this is what their life was like, whatever. It's a neat way to incorporate a lot of interests through books and book titles. And most people that I'm doing this for are people that like books and read books, and they're about knowledge and stuff. If I did this about a football player, I don't think it would work. Not to say that football players are illiterate, but football players, I might, if it was for a football player, I might do a little collage-like thing of a nice sweaty jock strap and ticket stubs, and Super Bowl ring, that kind of stuff. Penis pump. Yeah, you can see them on my website somewhere. I have a one-on-one that I'm going to do here at 11 o'clock my time, I think, with a guy that I met watching Pen Friends UK. He joined and was talking, and he's a journal keeper. He's a fountain pen user, mainly or only modern fountain pens. And yes, I do like Jock. Have you seen my Jock font, Frederick? My jockstrap font. Sorry. You have indeed. Okay, here's the Jock font. A, B, etc. Here's the pubic hair font. Here's the watch font, wristwatch font. Bye. So here's what the life map the books look like. This was one I did for a bride and groom. A bride's present to the groom was his life story ending. One of the books was their wedding, but it showed where they live now. He was from Minnesota. He lived in Minnesota, and he is a very small child, and the only thing he remembered about living here was the tornado sirens, which, come to think of it, didn't really happen very often, but we live in a state that the first Tuesday of the month, or Wednesday, they do the air raid sirens, and I don't think they do that everywhere, but they do it here for some reason. Oh, fuck. I'll be right back. No, I will take you with me. Get more coffee. Oh my God. What were you clapping about, Audrey?
Or are you talking about?
Yeah, what were you clapping about? Was it something dog was doing, or?
Yeah, the cat was, they were having Tycho go after the cat.
I see.
He was, see that bag that's on the floor?
Yeah,
Completely inside that bag.
I see.
He was being funny.
Okay. Very good. Skinny Mini, were you? Be right back. That does. Oh my God, that must have been like a twig. How is that even possible to be that skinny? For God's sake. Oh my. Oh, we're all crazy bundles of see, there's the White House and that stadium together in one shot. Well, it's very, very strange how we all work. Well, I think that's a good thing to do. Strippers, stripping and coffee. Um, okay. Oh, I think you could do it. You haven't never. It's like riding a bicycle. You'll never lose the ability. Okay, the sun is now over the yard arm, so I'm going to turn this off and take a shower and try to make myself look pretty for my official stream yarding thing with this new person, this one-on-one with a journal keeper. So we'll catch you later.